Hey everybody, Debbie here with another Stratego game analysis. This is going to be another wonderful game here where we're playing from behind. I'm going to use the major attack strategy where I charge in with my majors to try to find the marshal. If I find the marshal with a major, I play a normal game. If I don't, I keep on attacking with my 3 majors and 3 scouts, and then I play a normal game. The goal is to show beginners how to learn how to play from behind and how they can use the information they gain to plan forward attacks and try to get back into the game. It's very hard. It's a very hard concept for beginners. They don't understand that information is just as important as material. You have a scoreboard here, the graveyard, but that's only a partial scoreboard. This tells you the pieces you've captured, but it doesn't tell you the information you've gained throughout the game. Gaining information, where the bombs are, what pieces have moved, what pieces have been revealed, is very, very important, and you need to use that information to develop plans of attack to defeat your opponent. So let's get started to see how this game goes. My opponent makes a common mistake that so many beginners make, and maybe players in general do, I do it all the time, is my opponent's downfall in this game is he plays too fast. And the problem when you play too fast is you can't memorize everything. The biggest part of Stratego, I think, is remembering all the information you've gathered during the game. You have to know what pieces have moved and what pieces have been revealed, and it helps to know where pieces originated from, so you can statistically guess what kind of piece it is. And beginners play so fast that they just can't. There's no way they can remember all that stuff. So let's get started. See how this player plays. I'm going to start attacking with my 3 majors. This game is a little bit shaky, the video, because I had a new mouse and I was rolling the dial on my mouse and it kept on shifting my board, so I apologize for that. You'll see a couple shifts in the beginning. So it just made it harder for me to edit. So this is good. I get a sergeant with a major, so that's nice. So this piece is probably higher than a major, but that's good because we want to know what it is. And we get a captain, which is great. And we find a general, that's great. So we got a sergeant, a captain, and a revealed general for a major. I think that's definitely worth it, especially at the start of the game. So that's good information. Whenever you find a general, you always want to notice where it came from and then think maybe the spies can be next to the general. Usually beginners have the spy close by, and it's probably a good idea to keep your spy near your general. So you figure one of these pieces is probably the spy. So I can move these pieces, but I can't go forward. I have to use my scout and my major first. So we find a bomb. That's always great. That's one reason I allow myself to use the scouts too. So he might have a symmetrical setup. He might have a bomb. This might be a lieutenant, and this might be a bomb. A lot of beginners have symmetrical setups. I could take this with the captain, but I don't care if he scouts the minor or the captain. So unfortunately this is a bomb, so I'm thinking now he bombed off both sides. And that kind of sucks because I'm going to lose both these majors to bombs, and I'm not going to find the marshal. We only found the general here, but we are going to find 4 bombs. Now, if this was a normal game, I would probably take this piece with, assuming it was a lieutenant, to, since he probably has a symmetrical setup, and then I would bring up a minor and open up this bomb, and I probably would lotto with my, or attack with my major, just go straight down and straight across the back to try to get as many pieces as possible, because a lot of times they have their marshals, their marshal and the general up front and the colonel in the middle. So if you're lucky and can avoid the other two bombs, you could wind up getting a lot of smaller pieces, and you could just totally wipe out his army. That's always a good idea. A good idea to do when they have 4 bombs up front. We do learn some information that if he has a bombed-in flag, it's got to be in the corner now, or it has to be here. He can have a bomb here, bomb, and a flag here. So it's either in the corner or it's here. So we did get some information. So now I'm going to lose my majors. Unfortunately, we're going to be down 3 majors, so that's always scary. I remember when I first started, when I got down 1 or 2 majors, I thought the game was over. I thought, how do you win? Because I just didn't know how to play from behind. So now we're going to lose our majors, unfortunately. It always sucks when you... So there's the shift I was talking about. The board shifted. Okay. So let's see. We did get some good information. We got a captain. We're up a captain, 2 lieutenants, and a sergeant, and a scout. So we're not doing that bad. And we found 4 bombs. So that's pretty good. So now I'm going to open up the side here with the minor. I need to be able to attack on all 3 lanes. Sometimes when you're playing, you don't want to open up the sides, but at least get a minor there so in case you have to, you can do it. I also like filling in the spots. When I move a piece from the back second row, I like to fill it back in. That way it makes it harder for my opponent to read the board, and maybe he'll forget that this piece had moved. So now the goal, since I'm down 3 majors, the goal is to try to milk or bleed my opponent from his smaller pieces. I want to get the advantage of the smaller pieces, and then maybe later on, maybe get 1 or 2 majors, and then I can swap out and win the game because I have so many smaller pieces. The psychology of beginners when they're way ahead is to try to protect the lead. They overprotect the lead, and they start bringing up smaller pieces to try to find the marshal in general. When you're way behind like I am right now, you want to make sure your high pieces are hidden as long as possible. You only want to reveal them when you can make a big impact. Like you only want to use the marshal when you can attack a colonel, or maybe a major late in the game when you're close to being ahead. Same with the general. You don't want to really take captains with your general or marshal or anything lower, and you don't want them to be revealed. So you have to make some escape lanes for your high pieces so they don't get revealed. Most of the time, beginners will be bringing down garbage pieces. They'll be bringing down their lieutenants, captains, sergeants, and all their scouts. And then you know you're winning when they start using minors as scouts. That means they're really getting desperate. So this is probably a captain. He knows this is a captain. And usually here we find a sergeant. So what does this tell us? Well, this tells us if he has a bombed-in flag, it's on this side. It's not in this corner. So it's either here. If he has a bombed-in flag, it's either here or here, I guess. Or he could have it here if he has 2 bombs here and then he bombed in a piece. So that would be stupid, though. You don't want to bomb in pieces. So the odds are pretty good that he has an open flag. So now we have to find the 2 other bombs, and then we really need to find his marshal. And then we also want to try to milk or bleed all these lower pieces. So we get a big lead in the lower rank pieces. So I want to get this sergeant, and I don't want to give him too much information, so I bring up a lieutenant. Now he's bringing his general over here now that this is open. And I'm thinking what to do. I'm bringing up my colonel to get this piece. And I really make a mistake here. I think it's the biggest blunder I make in the game. I should have pulled back my lieutenant first. Because if I take this piece, my opponent's going to wind up getting this lieutenant if I don't lotto my colonel. And I don't want to lotto in this game. So I'm backing up, and now he's going to get my lieutenant with the general. So that was the biggest blunder I think in the game by me. It was just I was playing too fast. So you have to calculate those moves before you do them. So now I come bluffing up with this piece, and he does do the swap. He knew that was a captain. So I have to protect my marshal from scouts. And this is good. I like that. You bring up a sergeant. They get scouted. So he wastes another scout on a sergeant. And then what you do is you want to pull it back. And a lot of times players will forget. You pull this sergeant back, they'll forget that it's a sergeant. They'll forget it was a reveal piece. You just bring it back. And they won't pay any attention to this piece. And I think FKS, he talked about it in one of his streams. He's another real good player. And he said basically the lower pieces, and I totally agree with him, the lower pieces you can pull back and most players will forget about them. Most players will remember the marshal, the general, the colonels, the majors, all the good high pieces and good targets. Most players will remember them. I have problems remembering the marshal, but when a sergeant or lieutenant gets revealed and then comes back, most people will forget them. Even the best players, they will just totally forget them. So that's a pretty interesting fact here that most players will not remember your lieutenants and sergeants and lower pieces, but they tend to remember the high pieces. So you can bring them back, and then you can move them in a different lane and find scouts again and just keep on bleeding your opponent. So this sergeant is now revealed. Remember that, because that's important in this game. Now, this was probably another mistake I made. I should have hit this with a captain. It cost me a minor. I could have got that minor for free, but then I would have revealed this captain. I don't think this was revealed. But you can see he's starting to bring in his minors. This piece back here, this is probably a minor. When they start bringing up pieces from the back row, that's probably a minor. I should have hit down here instead of let this, because you almost knew it was a minor coming from the back row. I mean, he's used up 3 sergeants already. And this was a blunder on his part. This is what I call a hanging piece. He could have moved his minor in here and protected it, but he left it hanging there, and I'm going to take it because I need as many lower pieces as possible. I'm still down 3 majors. So he just let me get a free piece. And you don't ever want to do that. If you can get away, get away. So he forgot. This is telling me he's playing too fast, and maybe he forgot this was a colonel, and he's just playing too fast because this was a revealed colonel. So we get the minor for free, and that's just terrible Stratego play. I'm not going to lie with anything. I don't want to lose the colonel right now, especially being down 3 majors. And we're going to bring up a mine here to open up this side. So now this is his general. He's bringing another piece down to chase my colonel. And I don't think he's bluffing. Most beginners usually don't bluff because they're afraid of losing a piece if they get called on a bluff. So I assume this is either a colonel or a marshal, right? The general's here. So I'm thinking this is either a colonel or a marshal, and I don't want to swap since I'm behind. So I'm going to run back here. I think if it's a colonel, he might be doing the 2-for-1 trick where you chase a known piece with the same piece, and then you take a known piece and then you swap. So he would come down here, I would come down here with my colonel, he would bring his colonel down, and then he would take this sergeant, come back up, and then swap colonels, and you get 2-for-1. And if you can do that 3 or 4 times in a game, you're going to win a lot of games. So that's the old 2-for-1 attack. But I'm going to run away because I don't want to get caught. I don't know if it's a marshal or a colonel. So we have to run. And he's hesitant. So I tuck myself away. And now I test his memory again. Because remember, he didn't know the revealed colonel was revealed. So he should know this was a sergeant. But he's running away with this piece. So, maybe it's a marshal. He doesn't want it to get revealed. Or maybe he just doesn't know what this piece is. So right away we're thinking this player has he has a bad memory just like myself. And when you play fast, it makes it hard to memorize all the revealed pieces and pieces that have moved. So you really want to, like I say, if you want to really play well, for every unit of time you spend making your move, you should spend 3 units of time thinking about what your opponent just did. If you can do that, so if it takes you a second to figure out what to move, you should spend 3 seconds figuring out what your opponent just did. If you can do that, you're going to win a lot of games. Because this game is so memory intensive and so many people play too fast, they forget too much. And when you forget too much, you give an advantage to your opponent. So he's running away. His general's here. He's running away from my known sergeant. And that's good. He's going through a scout. So we're slowly bleeding him here. He has only 2 scouts left, which is great. So what do you think's behind the bomb here? It's probably his last sergeant, and it is. So now I'm going to do the old 2-for-1 trick here. Here's a revealed sergeant, so I'm going to bring out my sergeant. Maybe I should have brought out a captain, but I'm going to bring out a sergeant. I'm going to come forward, and I get a scout. So now he only has 1 scout left, and I'll swap. So that's the old 2-for-1 attack there. You get a scout to scout the sergeant, and then you swap, and you get 2 pieces for 1. And slowly but surely, his army gets smaller and smaller and smaller. All right, so that's good. Now the one thing I have to worry about is I need to protect this spot here in case he has some scout coming down. I don't want my marshal to be revealed. So I need to either get the scout in this column or move my captain up here. This could be a scout. He's scouting everything. He's bringing up miners, sergeants. He doesn't have any sergeants left. This is probably a garbage piece. This is probably a garbage piece. This is probably a mine. No, this is his colonel probably, or marshal. This is probably a garbage piece. So he hasn't been bringing up any of his higher pieces, with the exception of this piece here. I believe this is a good piece because he chased my known colonel. So I'm thinking here what to do. I'm going into my buffer, and I decided I think to move the captain up to here to definitely protect a scout from coming here. I don't want the one thing you don't want to do is get your marshal revealed, because then it'll be hard to come back. It'll be very hard to come back from a 3 major deficit. Let's look where we stand here. I'm down 3 majors, but I'm up a captain. I'm up 2 lieutenants. I'm up 2 sergeants. Okay, I am down a minor, but I'm up 3 scouts. So we're doing fairly well with the lower end, but we still need to maybe get 1 or 2 majors. So this is great. It was a scout. So we found his last scout. So now I can move my high pieces around, and my spy can move forward. So that's great, and they can't be revealed from long distance. So that's really good. So now what we need to do is we need to find his marshal. The game will be so much easier if we can find the marshal. And what do you think this piece is? And what does that tell us? All right, we're gonna play guess what the piece is. We're gonna see how your board reading skills are. This was a bomb. What do you think this piece is? And what does this tell us about his setup? So pause the video and think about it. It's really not that difficult if you take your time. But when you play fast, when you move right away, you don't think about these things. Okay, so first of all, he moves away from here, and we know 4 bombs. So that tells us he has an open flag, which is great. And the other thing it tells us here is, let's see, this was behind a bomb. Now usually players, what do they have behind a bomb? Most of the time, they have a sergeant. So we look to the graveyard, all his sergeants are gone. So then what would be the next piece? That would probably be here. We go down 1, lieutenant. So we can assume this piece is probably a lieutenant. And that's how you do simple board reading. And in fact, this is a lieutenant. So that's basically how you read the board. It's just common Stratego pattern to have a sergeant behind a bomb. Now, usually, sometimes when you play top players, they'll try to trick you and put a high piece behind a bomb and bring it out. And, that's why they're top players, because they try to make common Stratego patterns not so common. They try to trick you. So, but most players play conventional, play with the Stratego pattern, and that's how you can read the board very easily. So this winds up being a lieutenant, and we now know he has an open flag. So I'm coming up with a captain. Now he's defending this, and I think this is either the marshal or the colonel, and this could be the marshal or the colonel. That's what I'm thinking. He's bringing another piece from the back. This is probably another minor. And we want to try to find that marshal. So I got to start bringing up pieces. And since he has an open flag, that allows me to use my miners as scouts. So that's great. I don't have to really save my miners anymore. So we know this is the general. That's pretty much what we know. We think this is a lieutenant. I should have hit this piece again. We know that's the general, so we got to go down. And that's the 5th bomb. So that's really great. When you find 5 bombs, that really almost allows you to go lotto crazy. You can attack almost anything. And he has an open flag. So he's in a lot of trouble right now. Even though he is up three majors, he's in a lot of trouble because I know he has an open flag. And I know where one of his high pieces are. So we just need to find that marshal. And the other thing is he's losing lots of smaller pieces here. Yeah, let's see where we stand. I'm up a captain, I'm up 2 lieutenants, and I'm up a sergeant. I'm down a minor, but I'm up 3 scouts. So we're doing pretty good here with the lower pieces. So now my opponent is thinking, he's probably wondering why I haven't quit, right? Being down 3 majors. I bet you he's never played anybody down 3 majors that kept on playing. I bet you all the beginners, if he ever had a 3 major lead on somebody, they probably quit. He's probably stunned I'm still playing. So we want to find that marshal or the 6th bomb. That would be really helpful too. If we find the 6th bomb, that would be great. So you can see he's getting desperate. He's bringing up his miners to scout. And hallelujah, we finally found the marshal. So now you can really read his board now. We know the general here. This is probably a junk piece because it came from the back. This is almost probably a minor. This is probably the lieutenant. This is probably a colonel, and this is probably a colonel. So if you have a general here and a colonel here, this is probably his spy, and we know this is a minor. So, you know, it just goes to show you, even though he's ahead in material with the majors, I have the informational advantage. It's so easy to read his pieces once you know a lot of the other key pieces. You can basically read his entire board. So let's see what happens here. Now, since I'm coming forward, he knows this isn't a good piece. So he doesn't want to lose his minor to a captain. He wants to find the marshal or the general, and he has no idea where they are. Now this is probably a minor because it came from the back row. I don't think he had a major in the back row. Could be a captain, but it's probably a minor because the whole game he's been bringing up garbage pieces. So that was a lieutenant. So now I'm going to back away here. And now he wants to know what this is, so I'm going to take it because the more smaller pieces I have, the better off I am. And this was another minor. So like I said earlier, when your opponent, you know you're winning when your opponent starts desperately scouting with their miners. You can see how scared he is. He's playing prevent defense, which is a huge mistake. What he should be doing is when you're up 3 majors, you don't want to be bringing up your lower pieces here and letting them get captured. He should be attacking with majors, maybe hopefully capturing some captains and finding my marshal or finding my general. That's what he should be doing. He'll still have the lead. He'll still have a 2 or 1 major lead, but he'll be gaining some smaller pieces, and then he'll be getting some information. His problem is he doesn't have much information at all. I have all the information. The only thing he knows now is he knows these are 3 captains here. He doesn't know where my high pieces are. He doesn't know where my bombs are. I know 5 of his bombs, and I basically know all of his high pieces and probably where his spy is. So I have the information advantage, and he's playing blind, playing scared. And when you play scared and you're not aggressive, most of the time in Stratego you lose. The aggressive players usually win. So now I'm going to test here to see if this is a spy. And he does something unusual. He actually takes his time first. For really the first time in the game, he really takes some time. And he does a strange thing. So let's see what happens. He doesn't move his spy. I'm assuming it is a spy. He doesn't move it. He lets me take it. Now, the only thing I could think of was why he didn't move down here. First of all, if he moves it, you know it's the spy. So that's a giveaway because all his other pieces can take my scout. So if he moves away from the scout, and I know his marshal in general, so it's not like I'm revealing any high pieces. So the only thing I could think of is he didn't want to move down here because if I moved here, and neither one of these 2 pieces take me, then that's giving away where his flag is. His flag would either be here or here, and a bomb would be here or here. That's the only thing I could think of, that this is a bomb and this is a flag, or this is a flag, this is a bomb. And if I go here and he goes here with his spy, and neither one takes me, then that you know, you give away your flag position. That's the only thing I could think of. And unfortunately, I wish the pieces would be revealed at the end of the game, but they're not. So we never know where his flag is in this game, if it was here or here, or because I just want to know why he didn't move his spy. It didn't make any sense to move his spy. Maybe he hoped I forgot what this piece was and I was going to attack this. But it makes sense if you can get away with your spy to get away. So I just don't understand why he did that. That's weird. So we get a spy. Now we find his colonel. So now he's really in trouble now because now he can't defend from a marshal coming in, right? I could lure his marshal down here and bring my marshal up here and start attacking. And it's nice when your opponent has an open flag to have a scout left. I think it's a good idea to bury a scout on the back row so you don't use it, so you have it at the end game, because it's so easy to wind up if your scouts are available early on, you want to use them, but if you have it on the back row, you know, you'll tend to save it for the end game. So anyway, that was interesting with his spy. Still down 3 majors, so that hasn't changed. But I am getting a lot of pieces, and he doesn't have many scouting pieces left. No scouts, no sergeants, no lieutenants, and only 1 minor left. He's bringing his marshal down here. I think this is the colonel. So now, one thing, when a big moment happens in a game, like him losing his spy, I think that can be upsetting. And then it can cause you to forget all the reveal pieces. Basically, you get such in a shock that your brain resets and you forget where pieces are. He should know that these are all captains. They've been all revealed, but I think he he forgot after losing the scout. I think that really threw him. And the other thing is, when you take a person's spy, what piece usually comes forward when you take the opponent's spy? Usually the first piece, a lot of beginners move up, is the marshal, because the marshal can come up now freely and start attacking anything that moves. So maybe he thinks this piece is my marshal, even though he should know it's the captain. If I remember, he had memory problems with my colonel and sergeant, so I'm playing on that. So here's his marshal, and I think this is a colonel. So right away, I go this way, and he's running. So I keep on chasing, and it turns out to be a colonel. So this is pretty bold on my part. I'm probably taking advantage of his bad memory, because that's pretty gutsy, bluffing with a revealed captain. It was kind of funny. FKS wrote on the forum. He says, "Yeah, most people don't bluff with a captain." And then I actually found a game where I did bluff with a captain, but I bet you most people don't bluff with a revealed captain. That's probably rare. So I took a gamble there, and I think I sold it pretty good. He's running away. So now he's bringing the marshal back over, and then I don't miss a beat. And bluffs always work best when the piece gets revealed. So since I know this is a colonel, and he knows I know it's a colonel, he has to believe this piece is higher than a colonel. So he's going to run away. And this is why you keep your marshal hidden for as long as possible. You want to make a big, impactful capture late in the game that can make a big impact on the game. And we get his colonel. So that's just morale crushing to him right now, because he was up for the longest time, up 3 majors, and now he's down a colonel. And in his mind, he probably thinks he's losing really bad. But he still has 3 majors on me, so that's still something. It's not nothing to sneeze at. This is still a good game, but since I have such a huge information advantage, and he doesn't have many pieces left, the game is you could almost say it's over. And even if I would have lost both of these captains and gone down 2 captains and 3 majors, I still think the information advantage was so huge, and because he didn't have many pieces left, it would still be easy for me to win. I could wind up lottoing him. I could bring my spy up to target his marshal, bring my marshal up, since he doesn't have the spy, to target his colonel and general, and then we can just start lottoing with our colonels. He only has so many pieces left to attack, so eventually we'd find the flag, and then since I have a scout, that would help too. So he would be in a lot of trouble, even if this bluff wouldn't have worked out. So now I want to centralize my marshal, because he might be in lotto mode. Now he wants to try to get my captain, so I'm going to come down here. Now the one thing you have to remember when you have a piece on the side, when you're coming down and he's coming down, that's fine. But then when you go up and pass him, then he can trap this piece. You have to be wary of that. You have to be able to come back and defend that. So you have to calculate the steps to make sure you know that this piece won't get trapped. So I'm fine going down, but now he can come over. But see, I have position on him, so he can't get me. Now this is kind of interesting. He's coming over with his colonel, and he doesn't know what this piece is. This piece could be my general, so I don't know why he's coming over with the colonel. Maybe he figured out this was a captain. Maybe he finally remembered. I don't think he knows my general, so This was a gamble on his part anyway, bringing over a colonel and marshal to trap an unknown piece. I mean, it's a known piece, but he forgot. So maybe he finally remembered, but he's not going to get my captain. I'm on the diagonal with the marshal. Now he can take my captain. I'll take his colonel. That sounds like a good trade. So we just keep on staying on the diagonal. And now I go to the buffer to think a little bit or use some time. I want to try to capture this colonel. Now it's time to get my general involved. That's a bomb, that's a bomb. So we want to try to get this colonel if possible. I could run my captain up here to find, to find his last miner, or to find a bomb, or to find the flag if I have to. So we want to try to get this colonel. So he's coming down here with this colonel, so I'm hoping I can trap it. Okay, I move here. Now it's my opponent's turn. What's the worst move my opponent can make? And this is what I mean when players play too fast. They move before they think. And then as soon as they let go of the piece and make the move, they go, oh no, what have I done? Why did I do that? That's a stupid move. And all players do this eventually. You just, it's when you play too fast. So what move should my opponent make? Pause the video, see if you can find the suicidal move. All right, if he goes down here, that's bad because I can move my marshal over here. I can trap this, I guess. But the real bad mistake is here. He moves his general here, and that's what he does. And then that allows me to move the marshal here, and I'm gonna get his colonel. And so this was just a huge suicidal blunder, and it's because he moves so fast. Watch, he's at 15 seconds, and he doesn't think at all. He just moved too fast. I think maybe he's in lotto mode, and maybe he's stunned, that he was leading for so long, being up 3 majors, and he's wondering how he's going to lose this game. I think he's really shocked. He's in total shock. And now he's hoping this is a colonel or captain. So I take the colonel, and he's hoping this is a colonel or captain, and it winds up being a general, which really is terrible for him. And now I'm just going to come down with my captain and try to find, like I said, something to hit, a miner or a captain or the last bomb or maybe the flag. And you figure he's in lotto mode, and he's just totally stunned. So you can see how quickly the game can turn. He was up 3 majors, doing fine, and then he lost a spy, and then he lost 2 colonels, and now he's going to lotto his marshal. So that was good. We get a captain, and he finds my corner bomb. I love corner bombs. They're really great because, people don't expect bombs in the corner. I don't like having two bombs in both corners, but I like at least one bomb in a corner. That's pretty good. They're very effective if you can get to the late game. So I do like that. So you can see now we never did get a major here. I'm still down 3 majors, but we did get 2 colonels and the marshal. And now I just move forward. And that's kind of weird. Watch that with the clock. I thought that was interesting. It gave me extra time here. I don't know why. It started to count down from 18. I don't know why. I've seen that in a couple games where it starts, instead of 15 seconds, it starts at 18. So I move forward to just pin everything here. And he doesn't have many pieces left. What does he have? He has 3 majors, a captain, so that's 4, and a minor. So he has 5 pieces. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we really routed him piecewise as well. We really bled his lower pieces. And so even though I was behind material-wise the whole game, I think I was in total control the whole game because he was playing not to lose or playing prevent defense, and it's very hard to win that way. He was bringing down all those garbage pieces, and he just let me build up the lead on the lower ranks. And then he finally made a couple careless, memory mistakes, and those are the most common mistakes. And then he played too fast with the general move there. That was kind of dumb at the end. So really take your time when you move. Think about when you're gonna move a piece. Think about the consequences before you move it, not after you move it, and that'll help you win a lot of games. So this was an interesting comeback. So he goes. He quits now. He goes to his buffer. Let me show you that. He just runs it. I sped this up 1,000%. Let me just go real fast here. He gets to like 4 seconds, and then he decides to surrender. So he was sort of like a sore loser, but I think he was in shock in this game. Like I said, it's hard to, lose a 3 major. You think it's hard to lose a 3 major advantage, but it's really not. You have to remember, like I said, this is only a partial scoreboard. You also have to know what people the information they know, and the information is very, very important. So that was his record there. Yeah, okay, he was 332 ELO, 101.90. So that was an interesting game. So don't play too fast, right? Like I said, try to spend a unit of time on your move and 3 units of time on your opponent's move, so that way you can remember, like this piece moved and this is a revealed kernel and so on, and that'll help you win a lot of games instead of playing so carelessly. Oh, I can't even say it. Playing poorly. So I hope you guys learned something in this game. This was a semi-fascinating game, I thought. I still don't know why he didn't move his spy, but I bet you his flag was either here or here, and I bet you one of these was a bomb and one was a flag. So, all right, thanks for watching, and we'll hope you learned something, and we'll work on the next game. Bye for now.